Hey folks, it's Sam, and I'm doing this full moon in Scorpio forecast. Yes, folks, that's right. In Anuradha Nakshatra, that's happening on May 23rd. Didn't put the date here. May 23rd. We'll be talking about that full moon, what the full moon is, of course, what Scorpio is, and also what Anuradha Nakshatra is. And this is actually the public forecast. You also could get it for your sign if you did want to also be a member. But today, and in this video, I'm going to be going in depth into this very important full moon in Scorpio, Anuradha Nakshatra. And this is a very pivotal one with all these planets in Taurus, and then also the moon opposite there in Scorpio. So stick around and check it out.
Please like the video. Clicking like helps a lot more than you know. It pushes the video higher in relevant video searches. Also, please leave a nice comment. Comments also help more than you know as it raises the video in searches. Many times with hundreds of likes, there are only a dozen comments and they can be disproportionately negative. So be positive.
Indeed. So please do that. I really appreciate all of the support for the channel. So let's get right into it. You can see here that Mars and Rahu are close. And I say this because Mars is also the ruler of Scorpio. So there's a lot of Mars energy right now. I just did an update on Mars Rahu in general and currently in the sky in 2024. Check that out. It is very important. And this full moon is happening down here in Scorpio. And as you see, it says full moon is reflecting and harmonizing on the solar focus, in this case, Taurus. So it means that the solar focus, where the sun is always where our energy is moving, or where it's focused at a given time. And that focus, again, is actually important, especially relative to whatever your rising sign is, whatever your ascendant is. For example, like if you're a Virgo person, right now, the sun, the solar focus is on your 9th house, inspiration, purpose. If you're Aquarius, the solar focus is your 4th house. And again, these are the kinds of things that people get when they get my member site, especially when you sign up at the Examiner Lemurian level. You get those as well to keep you on track with these soli lunar cycles. New moons and full moons are always it's like this 2 weeks of focus each. And, in fact, it's actually 24 of them per year, right? So wherever this sun is, that's really the kind of focal point for about 30 days. But then when we have the full moon, it reflects back. So instead of being in this Taurus nature where we're like, okay, my life is about stability, structure, family, home, values, these things right in front of me, and I want them to be solid and stable. I don't ever want them to change. I want everything to keep staying the way it is, right? Instead of that, now we have this full moon in Scorpio reflecting back, entirely restless with that stable, solid feeling. Scorpio is about the restlessness. It's a fixed feminine energy, this fixed feminine watery quality of Mars. And it shows emotional frustrations and challenges to overcome and deepen. Its emotional courage is being developed in Scorpio. Think of it, emotional courage, which is the courage to just, to not just sit back and want to be comfortable. Because sometimes, again, the excesses of Taurus happen when we just are so comfortable that we never want to change, where we fear change more than wisdom or growth, or where this resistance to change, because I don't want to change anything that I'm comfortable with. This is making me happy, so I want it to always make me happy, and don't change anything, right? This is stasis. This is where we can get stuck. This is where Taurus energy can get stuck. Now, of course, it's not the only thing. That's the difficult quality of Taurus. Of course, the beneficial quality of Taurus and having all these planets in Taurus now Venus, Jupiter, Sun, is it's the time when we do actually connect with our values and we add beauty and love and attention and care to our family and the things around us, and where we live in that stable kind of harmonious rapport with existence. But again, we can get stuck in that. So the opposite sign, every sign that's opposite another, is there to kind of shake them up, to kind of provoke some type of change. Scorpio Taurus axis is probably, it's one of the most extreme in that context, because again, Taurus is like the stability of like the resistance to change, especially like material change. Like, again, we can literally get stuck in like money and all this stuff with Taurus. One of the biggest things I always have to deal with my Taurus clients, particularly those who are like, you know, I'd like to be an astrologer and I'd like to do this and I'd like to do that, is I got to say, okay, but you have to be willing to like not have so much comfort. Instead of having 3 cars, maybe 1 car. Instead of having all of this stuff and this comfortable life, and like, it's hard to get Taurus sometimes to imagine life at a lower standard of like, let's say, comfort and luxury, and doing things like changing and transforming your career or this or that. It's really not that hard, but you have to be willing to jump into uncertainty and intensity, particularly emotional uncertainty, emotional intensity. Because again, Taurus can be like, okay, well, you know, I imagine all these things, but I'm still going to be comfortable and happy while all this change is happening. So what consequently happens is nothing happens. They could just stay on this course for a very long time. Scorpio is in fact opposite. It can be hard to get Scorpio to relax. Again, because what they do really well is change, transform, provoke, question everything. As soon as something starts to feel comfortable with Scorpio, they're like, well, I don't really trust that. It's almost like, again, I don't like to use negative words like paranoia or whatever, but it does mean like our sort of imagined fears. So when Scorpio even sort of starts to get comfortable with something, they're like, they can start to get suspicious, like, well, it's a little too comfortable. Well, what's going on here? And then they'll start like probing into something. And if we're looking for trouble, we're going to find it. If we're looking for trouble because we're restless and it's just too good to be true, something's going on here, then we're going to find it, right? So with Scorpio, that nature can be a little too prevalent, but underneath it all, the deeper nature of Scorpio is to not be so dramatic and be so emotional on the surface and spinning out on all of those emotional fears and frustrations, the frustration that we're not, that we're not as safe and protected as we would like. Because Scorpio underneath it all is really kind of motivated most by vulnerability, by feeling vulnerable. So overcoming that vulnerability and transforming it into emotional courage and strength is the real power of Scorpio. But this is difficult for the moon. So one of the reasons why this full moon is so important is because it's where the moon is debilitated here, right? Moon is debilitated in Scorpio. The moon is exalted in Taurus, right? So when we have the new moon in a couple weeks, the moon will be exalted in the sign where the moon is new, right? But it's debilitated here in the full moon. So at this time, and again, the reason the moon has difficulty here is because, as you can imagine, the moon is the part of us that wants to feel comfortable, at home, at peace. So you can see why it's exalted in the sign of Taurus, where we're naturally wanting things to be peaceful, stable, and why it's debilitated in the sign of Scorpio, where things are naturally volatile and intense and hard to control. So we have to notice these things. Be careful about negative projections, dark projections, projecting your vulnerability into onto others in the form of some kind of blame, like you're to blame for why I'm not peaceful. It's your fault. You didn't nurture me, trust me, give me enough attention, do this kind of stuff. Because all I did for you. This is the kind of, Scorpio can have that sort of martyr complex a little bit. Because I'm willing to fight to the death for you, which, by the way, is true. But there's a price to pay often. I'm willing to fight to the death for you, but you're not for me. And no matter what you do, you can't prove it. Because I've been investigating and I can see where you also like other people or give other people attention. Again, so this kind of, it can get sort of difficult. So again, over time, though, the Scorpio energy really evolves as Scorpio connects to things that are more, again, that are less emotional and less based on desire and more based on devotion. And in this case, it's very important because the Anuradha Nakshatra is the purely devotional quality of Scorpio, where sacrifice is easy, like we would do for friends, animals, and others we want to protect. So I'm going to talk more about that in a bit. But again, I did just want to also let you know that you can get this forecast for your sign. I already recorded it. If you want to know what this full moon in Scorpio means for your sign, of course, and all the signs, then all you need to do is click this join button below the video. And also, click the subscribe button is how you can subscribe. And this one is available at the Lemurian level at $9.99 per month. You not only get the full moons and the new moons for your sign, but you also get a monthly video to keep you aligned each month. And you can see the forecast after you click. You go here, and you have the different levels here that you can join at. You would join at the examiner level, but you can see I just did the full moon in Scorpio. I did the Vedic week ahead for this week. That's at the Pleiadian level, but also the regular members week ahead. You see the new moon in Aries. The week ahead, we did the month ahead, May 2024 detailed forecast. You can see all these that I've done this month already. So again, this is at the full level. So again, people really like this easy membership level. For the $9.99, you can get the Scorpio full moon for your sign as well. So this time right now, though, particularly this Anuradha Nakshatra, is very much about that devotional quality of Scorpio. And the devotional quality is related to Radha. You even hear the word Radha in the name of the nakshatra, Anuradha. And Radha was the devotee of Lord Krishna, who was more like the divine friend than the romantic partner. And it's a really great example. And, Scorpio can be great romantic partners as well and all that. I mean, it doesn't mean they aren't. But when we have like the romantic desire, passionate type of partnership, Scorpio can be a bit, it can be a bit difficult, because that romantic partner, there's a lot of desires involved. That's related to kama, whereas Anuradha and that nature is related to Mitra, the god Mitra, who is the god of friendship, friendliness. Radha was saw Krishna as the divine friend, not necessarily the lover, where she was longing for Krishna, like the other gopis longed to marry Krishna, and they had these fantasies, these projected fantasies of, in some ways, really possessing Krishna. He's mine, my Krishna. This is a big problem with Scorpio. That possessiveness is what leads to the dark kind of spinning out. By the way, that's the problem with all of us, is we have a certain possessiveness. So possessiveness is a big part. It's a universal problem, where it's the ego that is possessive, that's trying to possess something of this earth rather than have detachment. For Scorpio, it can be a bit more, because they want to possess the lover or possess the thing. But then again, you get possessed by it. So I made a video recently that said, do you have the thing or does the thing have you? Do you have it? Again, this is a big Aries to Taurus shift. This energy in Taurus. Do you have all of those things you have, or do they have you? Are you captured by them? And again, this is what I was even saying about the Taurus level of comfort. Oh, I want to transform. I want this. I want that. Okay, then go ahead and do it. But I still want to have this nice house and this thing and that thing. Okay, well, then you don't have it. It has you. It has you caught. You're caught in it. So this Taurus-Scorpio axis is a lot of this possessiveness, having more detachment, because these fixed signs have a lot of this attachment quality to it. So the Anuradha Nakshatra, as it says, the purely devotional quality of Scorpio, where sacrifice is easy, like we would do for friends, animals, and others we want to protect. So there's this very protective quality of Scorpio, like for animals, friends, and the god is Mitra, the god of friendship, friendliness. So again, if you have planets in Scorpio, or even as you get into this Scorpio full moon, notice where you kind of get a little bit crazy and a little bit, again, ready to project all of these enemy images onto someone and then fight with them, or want to get like, again, this is why the moon has difficulty in Scorpio, because we want to feel peaceful. Other planets like Mars, Jupiter, the Sun, Ketu are really quite powerful in Scorpio because of that focus and working through that emotional intensity and getting to something more protective and fierce with less possessiveness. The moon and Venus, especially also Mercury, can be kind of twisted up in Scorpio because of that intense desire that can be there. So notice if you start projecting especially negative, dark images onto those who did something to you, and you want to avenge it. Again, all of this kind of avenging quality is the detriment of Scorpio. When they're not in that vengeful mode and wanting to, fight against some great perpetrated crime against them, then Scorpio is very devotional, very, it's also a sign where there can be, an enormous amount of discipline toward spirituality. But again, Scorpio has to find the thing to be devoted to, not just to be all emotional about or be possessive about. So I hope this was helpful. Please, share this with others, and thanks a lot.
Just started YouTube memberships, and as you can see here, I have 4 levels of membership. The investigator unicorn level, are you a unicorn? The examiner Lemurian level, are you a Lemurian from the ancient city, or are you a visionary Pleiadian, or are you a 5D avatar oracle? I'm going to talk about a few of these membership levels, but even at the $4.99 level, you get a lot of interesting perks, including a weekly live stream done Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and a bunch of other free classes and loyalty badges and emojis and cool stuff like that. And by the way, in this next level here, this Lemurian level, you get the new moon for your sign. At this level, at this examiner Lemurian level, I give you that very detailed live video of the coming month. You can just click join and join at that level. But again, you also are getting this new moon forecast here at this Lemurian level. And then at the Pleiadian level, you not only get all of that, but you also get the daily forecast based on the Vedic Panchanga, where it's Saturday, the first Tithi, it's Purvabhadra, it's Aquarius. That's at the Pleiadian level. Then if you want to get at the Oracle 5D Avatar level, then there's a bunch of classes, access to many classes, hours and hours of ongoing classes that
aren't offered just to the general public.
And thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.